Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Martine, and if you are new here, I do videos on Vedic astrology mainly, but also with some tropical insights, and I focus on both relationship and natal astrology. And if you like this video and you would like to see more content from me, please like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell to see when I will post a new video. And also, if you're interested in a personal consultation, I do consultations on a wide variety of topics. Please check out the video description. I will leave my contact information there. Thank you. And also, thank you once again to everyone who has subscribed and for watching the ads. Thank you. So today's video is going to be in continuation with the series of Mars through the houses, namely Mars in the second house. And once again, I'm going to do the first part now, where I talk about the general description about Mars in the second house and the aspects that it makes from the second house to other houses, the impact on the personality, and so on. And I'm going to be talking about more personalized descriptions for each ascendant from Aries to Virgo for this first video. And I will be making a second part where I'm going to be talking about Mars in the second house for the ascendants from Libra to Pisces. Okay, because it's going to be a really lengthy video anyway. So I figured that I have to divide it. I made notes, so you're gonna hear some pages ruffling and turning and stuff. Okay, so Mars in the second house. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna start as usual with the general description for Mars. So Mars is your passion, your life force, your inner hunter warrior archetype. Okay, hunter / warrior archetype, or the general archetype on the higher levels. Okay, it rules survival instincts, it rules the physical body, rules sexuality, particularly the male sexuality. It also, for a man, rules the sexual organs, and for a woman as well, it rules the uterus. What it also rules what motivates you in life. Okay, so it corresponds to the root chakra or the base chakra. Okay, and it's your physical biorhythm, your energy. Okay, and also physically corresponds to the head. It rules the head. So everything that pertains to the head, the teeth, the eyes, etc., etc. Now, the second house represents the family of origin. It represents your wealth, your status, your material possession. So not just wealth in general, but it particularly rules your material possession, so your house and stuff. Also, just anything to do with hedonistic pursuits. So artworks, food, it rules food and cooking as well. Because this is the house that is naturally ruled by Venus, so it is connected to all of the Venusian things, all of the art forms, physical pleasures, physical comforts, the attitude towards the pleasures of the world, and the attitudes towards hedonism, as well as your attitudes towards values, your sense of value, your sense of worth, including your sense of self-worth. And another thing that it rules is the face, because according to traditional astrology, the first house is the physical body in its entirety, and the second house also rules the face. And since any planets in the second house will oppose the eighth house, it will also show the partner's face, because the eighth house is the second from the seventh, which the seventh is the house of the spouse. Okay, so it helps to bear these things in mind as I go through with it, because Mars in the second house is one of those placements where Mars will leave its print on a person's physique as well, namely with respect to the facial features. So you're going to see Mars in the second house people tend to have a more, let's say, features that are more seen as traditionally masculine, things like a prominent jawline, a pointy chin, especially the men who have this placement. You're going to see that, especially with the examples that I have gathered. You can see plenty of examples that match this description. People who have like a pointy jaw, a pointy chin, a strong jawline, a strong nose, a prominent nose, and also they tend to have, penetrating eyes that tend to be towards the smaller size. So, you know, stuff like that. Also, another thing is you can see baldness a lot, because that's another sign of masculine energy. You can also see with the men especially that Mars in the second house tends to show men who look best with facial hair, or you're going to see men who, even if they don't look best, they like to wear facial hair. Okay. So this is with respect to how Mars in the second affects physical appearance, okay? And another thing with respect to physical appearance is it can give an oval face or a prolonged face. And another thing is your voice. The second house also rules the voice. So with Mars in the second, this tends to make your voice really distinguished. It will make you stand out easily when speaking or singing. It can even make you a good writer. I've actually seen this with a lot of writers, and you're going to see the examples as well. That it can make you, so it can give you a commanding voice and a way of expressing yourself, even when you're expressing yourself through writing, but especially when it comes to the actual voice. So any profession where you use your voice, you will tend to have a advantage because you can command attention. Another thing is Mars in the second house means that your family and your sense of security in life will be very important to you, and you will spend most of your life force on these matters, as well as any artistic pursuits that you might have, especially if supported by other placements in the chart. So in other words, you could definitely be an artist with this placement, especially if you have other supportive elements, okay, in the other places of the horoscope. From the second house, Mars will aspect the 5th, the 8th, the 9th houses as well. So the 9th house, the 5th house has the capacity to be particularly energized by Mars, making you a passionate person when it comes to matters of the heart, when it comes to your hobbies, your creative endeavors, romance, and your children. You will also be quite ambitious with regards to getting an education, and you will feel drawn to all kinds of speculative businesses and investing. Mars's aspect aspecting the 8th house by opposition shows that, like I said before, the partner could have some Mars dominant facial features as well, or they could have some Mars qualities. Also shows that sexual expression is quite important to you in a relationship. And you tend to embrace risk as a part of life. However, you have to be careful about Mars making you impulsive when it comes to your financial habits, especially when it comes to taking loans and any kinds of other risky financial behaviors, okay? So on the one hand, you do tend to have a talent for investing, especially if, again, supported by other placements in the horoscope, but you also have to be careful not to throw yourself headfirst in risky loans without properly informing yourself on these issues, because they could be particularly detrimental to you. Another thing is that Mars is aspecting the 9th by 8th aspect, which shows potential accidents related to foreign lands, religious places, higher learning institutions, security surrounding your higher education, as well as with respect to your mentors, gurus, or the people that you get advice from, okay? So you could be a little bit more accident prone when it comes to these things. But it also shows that you are very determined in gaining information in these issues. So you're going to be proactive about your 9th house matters. So you could be really ambitious about, getting a guru or studying higher knowledge, so getting higher education, master's degree and above, or traveling to foreign lands, learning about foreign cultures, getting a guru, getting a mentor or religious or a spiritual leader, etc. And also issues to do with your faith. Okay, so this is pretty much it. And now to get into the individual descriptions for each ascendant. So once again, I remind you before I get into it that of course the general description is going to still stand for each of these. So what I am going to add for each ascendant is particular things that you can only see based on Mars in the second house for that particular ascendant. Okay, so to complete what I have already said, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so Mars in the second house for Aries Ascendant. Mars will rule, okay, the 1st and the 8th houses, and it falls into your second house. So this shows that your image, your physical body, your personality, how you present yourself in the world can help boost your wealth. You can use loans and speculative business to improve your wealth and your family relations, especially when it comes to the family of origin, of course. Your in-laws, your spouse's family can improve your wealth as well. However, they can also show there could also be some issues surrounding arguments with the spouse's family of origin. So the in-laws, or some kind of unwelcome interference from them. Since Mars is in Taurus, the emphasis on artistic expression is particularly strong for this ascendant. You'll likely have a beautiful singing or speaking voice, and you can definitely use it to improve your career and your image in the world. Some famous examples who have Mars in Taurus or the second house for Aries Ascendant include Donatella Versace, Ali Larter, who is an actress, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, who is a writer, Carlos Santana, and Martin Luther King. So if you've noticed from the examples, like all of these people are famous for basically second house things, right? So arts, all kinds of arts. So you see all kinds of artists, but particularly writers and singers and speakers, right? Martin Luther King definitely used his voice to boost his image and his status and to fulfill his destiny, as the second house would suggest. Okay, Mars in the second house. Okay, moving on to Mars in the second house for Taurus Ascendant. Here you have a good potential for being a good business person. Okay, the spouse will likely contribute to your wealth and your sense of self-worth. You can make money from foreign sources, working with foreigners, or in any profession that requires considerable time spent in isolation, because of the 12th house falling into the second. Okay, 12th house ruler going into the second house. You come across as a very intelligent, accurate person in your speech, okay? Your communication skills will help elevate your status in society, and some famous examples with people who have Mars in the for people who have Mars in the second house for Taurus Ascendant include Julie Haggerty, who is an actress, Simone Beck, who I've had to Google, but I definitely heard about her before. She was a cookbook author who worked with Julia Child. So yeah, again, you see the theme of author. And director Paul Thomas Anderson, writer Paulo Coelho. And director Rob Marshall, who I had to Google again, but apparently he was famous. He was a famous Broadway director, and he was famous for directing the movie version of Chicago 2002, that famous version that, with Catherine Zeta-Jones, etc., etc. So a really successful director and artistic person. Okay. Moving on to Mars in the second house for Gemini Ascendant. Okay, now in this case, this placement shows that you can earn wealth through service or being fiercely competitive throughout your professional life. Okay, no matter what professional field you are in, you can definitely earn the most by being very competitive, or somehow through your enemies or through your servants. You can make money. So this could show, for instance, making money out of suing people, especially if there are other positive placements around the 7th house. Okay. Also, you could do well in employment, especially employment, but also potentially business connected to public service or any healthcare field, including veterinary services. Okay. or in just competitions of any kind, okay, where you stand to gain after competing against others. Your friend circle, your acquaintances, your elder siblings can also help you improve your wealth. You will tend to see friends as family. You will have to, you will love to spend money on your friends and your family of origin. Some famous examples with Mars in the second house for Gemini Ascendant include Vice President Kamala Harris, singer, actress Dinah Shore. I had to Google her because, apparently she was born in 1916. Obviously, I hadn't heard of her. Okay, so Hafida Gadi, who is a French long-distance runner, Jean-Pierre Nicolas, who was a professional rally driver, and Michael Jordan. So it was kind of funny to me because the examples already see, I think this is the, out of these 6 ascendants that I've checked, this is the only one that had so many athletes. And I think that probably has to do with the fact that Mars rules the 6th house. And like I said, this shows that you can gain wealth from competitions. So yeah, and you would expect to see that in a chart for an athlete. Okay, and now moving on to Mars in the second house for Cancer Ascendant. So this placement shows a great deal of creative energy. Right, I mean, I wanted to say this for Cancer Ascendant, because Mars falls in Leo in the second house. I mean, this is the ascendant again out of these 6. Where I found the most celebrities. Like with others, I struggled to find famous people as examples, but with this one, I found like too many examples to even fit in. And obviously, this is probably because of the massive creative energy of having Ascendant in Cancer and Mars in Leo in the second house. So, a great deal of creative energy there. Okay. And you could easily succeed in any artistic fields, provided that other supportive factors are present in the rest of the horoscope, of course. And especially dramatic arts, because Mars in Leo in the second house, which is the house of the voice. You are very protective towards your family of origin as well as your children. However, your protectiveness towards your children can also cause potential conflicts with them. This could show you will potentially be homeschooled, or that somehow a lot of your education will come from your family of origin. You could also succeed in business, particularly when it is fields that you are truly passionate about. So, passion projects. The career and social status can have a heavy influence on your sense of self-worth. You can gain a lot of money from real estate or professions connected to cooking, to arts, following into the family business. Some famous people who have Mars in the second house for Cancer Ascendant include Blake Lively, Joan of Arc. I was super jealous when I found out that you have Joan of Arc. Indira Gandhi, Zoe Saldana, Terry Hatcher, Brigitte Nielsen, Johnny Depp, Robert Downey Jr., George W. Bush, James Brown, Yves Montand, who's a French actor who acted with Marilyn Monroe in Let's Make Love. Tony Shalhoub, who played Monk. I love that show. Okay. Moving on to Mars in the second house for Leo Ascendant. So another quite creative placement here. So Mars in the second house for Leo Ascendant will show a lot of irritability and perfectionism on your part because Mars is in Virgo. But it also shows a lot of intellectual energy, all directed to the second house matters. So this shows that you are generally cautious yet determined in accumulating wealth. You will be driven to acquire properties and vehicles, but how successful you are, that will also be shown by the overall status or the condition of the fourth house. Your teachers, your mentors, or religious leaders will be treated as family by you. Financially, you are quite lucky. And you should also go for any profession where you rely heavily on the use of your voice, like teaching. You can make loads of money that way. Some famous people include Elke Sommer, who is an actress, Milan Farmer, singer, Malala Yousafzai. Had to Google her, but apparently she's an author and the youngest Nobel Prize laureate, and she's from Pakistan. Eddie Redmayne, who is an actor, and Natalie Cole, who was a singer. Okay. Okay, Mars in the second house for Virgo Ascendant. So, Mars in Libra here will make you very justice and diplomacy oriented. Since Mars is in the second house of the voice, you would make a great lawyer because you are an assertive yet logical speaker, and you can wield your words like a sword. And you are also very good at doing things diplomatically. You are also quite enterprising in making money, and you are likely to enjoy being self-employed. Of course, if there are other placements that will further support this other places in the horoscope. Your financial situation could go through massive transformations in your lifetime. So watch out for transits to Mars or the Mahadasha of Mars, or transits of planets that maybe are conjunct Mars or are sitting in the 8th house. Some famous people with Mars in the second house for Virgo Ascendant include Maria von Trapp. Maria von Trapp, who is the original Maria von Trapp, who actually, again, was an author because she wrote the story of the Trapp family that was the basis of the movie The Sound of Music. Okay, so yeah, she was played by Julie Andrews in the film. Ryan Reynolds, who of course is an actor, Billy Corgan, lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins, and Bud Spencer, who again I had to Google because he sadly passed away a few years ago. Apparently his real name was Pedersoli something, so he was Italian at origin, but he was famous for playing in a lot of westerns. And the funny thing is that he was actually a professional swimmer before he got involved in the movie business. Okay, so this has been it, and I hope you have enjoyed it once again. And if you have, please like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell. Don't forget to comment if you have any feedback or questions. And once again, thank you for watching the ads, and please continue to do so to support my channel for free. And if you're interested in a personal consultation, I do consultations on a wide variety of topics. Please check out the video description. I will leave my contact information there. Thank you.